Welcome back to How to Become a Freelancer in 30 Days. This is Anthony Chatfield, and today, on day 25, I want to talk about how to evaluate your income and start bidding accordingly. This is actually one of the first questions I tend to get about freelancing, is how much to bid and when to start bidding more. And the reason I put it towards the end of this program is because it's really not the most important factor. As you build your brand and your website and your profiles and start building a portfolio of clients, that's how it's really going to help you. Once you have those skills and have shown you can do these things, that's when you can start asking for more money. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about how to review the first month and start adjusting your goals based on how you did. And then start asking questions like, are you making enough money yet? Are you spending the right amount of time bidding? The problem with freelancing is that you can only do one of two things. You can either look for work and generate sales, quote unquote, or you can do the work and deliver. Finding a balance between those two so that you always have stuff in the hopper to do is hard. And that's why I've spent so much time talking about building websites and promoting yourself, is because that's going to help fill that hopper more consistently without you having to do so much work for it. So, evaluating success. Now, first off, remember that it's only been like 3 weeks. Even if you haven't gotten a project yet, it's not a big deal. You've done so much good work, you've built a solid foundation, you have so many things in place now that I guarantee that first project is right around the bend. So be realistic about what you can actually accomplish. Don't expect to have suddenly replaced your income. It takes a while. It took me 3 months when I first got started, and to me that was really quick to replace my income and quit my job. And that was back in a time when I was not making a lot of money in my post-college job, so it wasn't as big of a deal. If I were to do that now and try to replace my income, it would take several months. And what we want to do, though, is we want to start adjusting your bidding to match what you're going to get in terms of new work. So if let's say you've picked up 3 projects this month and you've made maybe $1,200 off of those, and your goal is $2,000, but you know you really can't do any more work than you currently are. You've maxed out whatever additional time you have on the weekend or after work, and you just don't know how to squeeze any more in. That's when it's time to start doing some math. So you know that you're making $1,200, you're not quite to your goal of $2,000. You need to increase your income by 60%, so you need to increase what you're charging by 60% because you can't actually do more work. The cool thing about freelancing is that while you are still selling time for money, you set the price. You're not going to work for somebody who's telling you this is how much you make, and in a year, if you do a really good job, you might get a tiny little increase. You can decide suddenly overnight, hey, I'm going to charge double what I used to charge. And nobody can stop you. They might not hire you, but nobody can stop you. The cool thing is, they generally will continue to hire you. People are willing to pay if you can show that you're going to do the work effectively. So the next thing here is client and project diversity. There's always that risk of the big fish client. I ran an agency for several years after I was freelancing, and we always would get stuck in this situation where we'd have one client who made up more than 25% of our total revenue. That's dangerous, because if you lose that client, you're suddenly making less than you need to survive. And the same thing can happen as a freelancer. There was 1 year, in fact, where one of my clients made up 57% of my total income. And when I did my taxes at the end of the year, I looked at that and said, this can't work. It's not going to work. If I keep doing this and he leaves, I'm not going to be able to pay my rent. So you want to diversify whenever possible. When you already have a full schedule, let's say one client has booked you to do so much work that you're busy for the next 6 to 8 weeks, you still need to find time. You need to find ways to diversify. Spread that project out a little bit. Keep looking for work even though you have a full schedule. Is outsourcing a possibility this early? Maybe not. There's a lot of opportunities, but you want to think about the option. Outsourcing may be part of that big project so you can bring on other smaller projects. It's a lot more work, but it's going to help make your freelancing business healthier and more effective long term, because if that client leaves, then you can keep going. There's no problem there. All right. Now, telling a regular client no, even if you don't want to, this is really hard. Somebody who's paying you a lot of income, you know that they're reliable, you know they're going to keep giving you work, but maybe it doesn't pay enough, or maybe it's not the type of thing you want to do. At a certain point, you might decide, I need to say no to them. I need to change the kind of work I'm doing. You need to treat every person as a business partner, and if it's not in your best interest as a business owner to do something, then don't do it. Don't make it personal, because the minute you make it personal, they're going to take advantage of you. Finally, there's this whole issue of surplus time. You're going to have extra time at any given point, and you can use it effectively to build your reputation and your website and generate better leads. So generally what happens is, you have enough projects to do. Maybe you've got a project that's really quick and efficient and you're making decent money at it. And you only need to work 40% of the time that you have available. So that means you can do one of two things. You can either relax and enjoy all that extra time, or you can go look for more work, or build out your website, or build your brand further, or start working on a side project that'll help build your business. There's a lot of things you can do to invest all that extra time, and possibly even money if you're making more than you need, into a secondary income stream potential. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in the next couple days. But the key is to evaluate your results and improve the process. Don't just sit back on your laurels and be happy with what you're getting. Look at whether you're making enough money. If you're not making enough money, how can you change your rates? Are you working with enough diverse clients that if something happened, you'd still be okay? And finally, what can you do with the extra time that is available? If you can answer all those questions effectively, and don't expect it to happen overnight, this will take several weeks, even months. It's just something I want you to keep in the back of your head. You'll have a healthy freelance business that can support you moving forward. All right, so today's actions: review your current and past projects, determine whether to change your bidding strategy. So if you're not bidding enough, or if you're bidding too much and you're not getting enough work, now's the time to adjust it, and decide how to spend the time in the coming weeks and months when you have extra time. All right, any questions or comments, please leave them with the notes below. And if you haven't yet, please leave a review for the program as a whole. I'd love your feedback. That's everything for today. We'll be back tomorrow.